So Alan, Valegro's groom, the unsung hero, you've been involved with Valegro and Charlotte for quite a long time. What's the journey involved?
I've been here now for 7 years at Carl and Charlotte's, so it's been quite a journey. I've been with Valegro and Utopia since they started their international careers. I've known Carl for a very long time, and he asked me to come way back in 2010 and travel with these two young up-and-coming Grand Prix horses. He wanted me to work here at home, know them inside out, and know everything about them, know their likes and dislikes, so that when I take them away, I know how to keep them happy and well and contented. So I've seen them right from the beginning, and grow and blossom into international superstars and medal-winning machines. So it's been quite a journey, yes.
And Valegro, tell us about him as a personality.
Valegro has an incredible personality. People often ask me, what is he like to look after? And he's just a joy the whole time. He's such a happy-go-lucky person. As long as he's got his hay and his feed and his bucket of water to dunk his hay in, then he's more than happy. And he's become a great friend to me in a way, because we spend so much time together and we've travelled a lot, and to think that I've gained his trust is a huge honour, I feel, for such a superstar to trust me to take him on planes and trains and all over the place. It's been quite incredible, really, to end up having that bond with him.
So he's given you a bit of a passport to the world, because you've been to some pretty crazy places, haven't you, with Valegro? Tell us about those.
Yeah, we've travelled all over together now, Blueberry and I. Just we've been to Florida, we've been to Rio, and we've been to Vegas on planes and everything. And then someone actually asked me how many countries had we been to, and I counted up at least 10 the other day that I know that we've been to and competed in together. So yeah, we've travelled a lot and seen a lot together.
Has he changed at all in character? Has he become a more sort of arrogant, precocious horse in the time you've known him?
I don't think he has changed in the last few years, even with the media interest and the press and the cameras being pointed at him the whole time. He'll do his job. He comes out, he'll pose for the cameras. He will get bored after about 15-20 minutes. If they've not finished, he'll just start to slump slightly and get a little bit bored, and then want to go back into his stable. He always wants to please. He has always done ever since he was a young horse, and even now he's the same. Even if you're hacking him out, he just is jolly and wants to go along and have a nice ride. And so I don't think he has actually changed that much at all. It's not affecting the stardom. It's not affecting. He hasn't become a diva. He's still Blueberry to us.
And what about Charlotte? Has she become a diva? Has she changed in any way through this experience?
I don't think Charlotte's become a diva. She's changed a lot since I first met her all those years ago. She's become much more confident. The first few years when the medals started coming, in Rotterdam for the Europeans and London, the media attention sort of frightened her almost. And now you can see she's much more confident in front of the camera, and she knows what she wants to say, and she knows how to get things across now. And I think it's the same for all of us. We get followed everywhere now with TV cameras, and we've had to become used to it. And you don't really worry about it so much now. The people point a camera at you, you just don't worry, and you just talk and get on with it. And people seem to love knowing what is going on here, and they love to see what we do behind the scenes. So I think that's actually good for the sport too, that people have got access now to behind the scenes and seeing how we produce the horses. So I think it's actually quite important that we do that.
When you go away to competitions, do you have a good time of it? Do you party at all? Do you all go out together?
When we're away at the competitions, it's not really party time for me. It's, my job is to take care of the horses and make sure they're fit and happy and well. And especially for championships, we're representing Team GB, so we have to be on form the whole time, and I have to be there and make sure the horses are fit and happy and well, and nothing goes wrong with them. So.
But there must be a bit of a celebration, when you've won another medal, for example.
The celebrations generally for me happen when we get home. When we're at the competitions, it's difficult to leave the horses and go and have a party. It's not always that easy. Like in Rio, the traffic was so bad, to get away from the stables was just a complete nightmare. So we all got together, all the grooms got together. Dickie Waygood, our chef de keep, had a party for us a few weeks after we got back from Rio, because also I flew out with the horses the day after the individual competition on the Monday. They competed on the Monday, and I didn't get finished in the stables till about 7, 8 at night. And then we were flying the next day, so we had to make sure all the trunks were packed and everything was ready to leave from the venue at lunchtime on the Tuesday. All the equipment got taken, and then the horses and I got picked up on Tuesday evening to go to the airport to fly home. So there wasn't even any time to think about partying then. So we did all that when we got home.
How did Rio compare with London?
It was Rio. Comparing Rio to London is quite difficult. They were two completely different competitions, really. London being on home territory, organised by British people in a park in the middle of London. It was completely unique and a one-off experience, and it was beautifully organised. There was no stone unturned in the organisation. So that was incredible. And then Rio was completely different. On the other side of the world, they tried really hard to make things as easy for us as possible, and they did a great job. It was a super venue, and the organisation was great, but it was completely different. And I think the pressure was different. Right? Going into London, the pressure on our team, having won the gold the year before in the Europeans, and then going into the London Olympics, there was a huge amount of pressure on the horses and the team. And although there was pressure running into Rio, there wasn't as much pressure. So I think the whole atmosphere was a little different at Rio to London.
And what has been for you perhaps the highlight of Valegro's career?
I quite often get asked about what's the highlight of the last few years with Valegro, and there's many things. Obviously, his first Olympics in London was obviously a highlight, but looking back, it was a bit of a blur because it was such a whirlwind and there was so much pressure and everything. And obviously the Rio, there was a huge build up to Rio, and then going and retaining his individual title at Rio was an enormous moment. But I think one of the most outstanding moments was in Hagen in 2012, one of our last shows before London, when he first broke the record for the special. He did the most incredible test. It was the most beautiful test to watch. Totally unexpected to start breaking records. Media went completely crazy. And taking, an English rider and an English horse into a huge German show like that, they weren't expecting us to go and get such enormous scores and start breaking records. So I think that was one of the most memorable moments.
And do you say anything to Charlotte before she goes in? I mean, some grooms are sort of almost like psychologists on the sideline. Have you ever had to sort of, pat her on the back and say, come on, it's going to be all right?
You have to judge it with Charlotte. Sometimes I need to be there for her. If Carl's not around, then she needs some eyes on the ground. And you never know, different shows, different situations, how it's going to go. So you have to be ready as a groom to try and judge the situation as to how to handle the horses and the riders. On the whole, Charlotte's pretty good. She doesn't get nervous. If she does get nervous, you just need to be there and be supportive and be reassuring.
What do you say to her?
It kind of depends how things are going and where we are and things like that. I mean, normally it's just she needs reassuring. He looks great. Blueberry looks great. Everything's fine. Don't worry. But it's very rare that happens. She's such a confident person and she's got such a good feel. She knows what's going on, so she doesn't need too much of a booster. But she does like to have Carl and myself there as support and sort of a bit of backup.
Now, this is a horse that has captured the British public's imagination for many years now. It must feel like a bit of an end of an era for you as well, does it?
Yeah, I think it does feel a bit like an end of an era at the moment. I've always said the last few years have been history in the making, and I can't see there's going to ever be another horse like Blueberry in my lifetime. He's so phenomenal in his way of going, his brain, his attitude, his generosity of spirit. I just don't think, I personally don't think I'll ever see another horse like that. So it's kind of a strange feeling to think that I've seen that right from the start of his international career right up through to retiring. It's been a huge emotional roller coaster, and to think that it's sort of ending is slightly strange, but I mean, I'm very lucky he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay here with us. I still get to take care of him. I still get to ride him every day and hack him out on a Wednesday and Saturday and do fitness work with him to keep him right. So it's a bit of a strange feeling, because I saw Sprinter Sacre retire the other day and his groom was in pieces, because the horse is actually going back to the owners, so he won't get to look after him and all. But I'm just thankful that he's going to still be here and I can still look after him.